Well, it's time to find out what's happening on the front page this morning. And of course, Chelsea Daniels is here on the desk to tell us what's coming up. And you're looking at the telecommunications sector and whether it's over-regulated.
Yeah, so I spoke to tech commentator Bill Bennett for this one. For the past month, Kiwis have been able to have their say on proposals to change the regulations in our telecommunications sector, which is something that I don't think many people knew about, actually. It's a part of the government's cutting of red tape series, I suppose. So it's called the Telecommunications Sector Regulatory Review. And it examines whether the sector's current regulation remains fit for purpose. Now, Minister for Regulation, of course, David Seymour, has said that these services are as essential as power and water, and these changes could affect almost every Kiwi in the country. The changes could include introducing a consumer code, replacing or phasing out the current obligation framework, and getting rid of obsolete rules. Now, the TSO, so that's the obligation framework, is basically something that was brought in when telecom was privatised, basically saying, look, you have to provide emergency service phone calls, you have to provide services to rural areas. So if we did away with those obligations, could we live in a world where rural parts of the country could technically be cut off? And that's something that we discuss in the podcast today.
Yeah, right. So what are some of the more sort of contentious changes that are being proposed, or when can we expect there to be any confirmation of changes?
We don't know about confirmation yet. You can still have your say by the end of today. I spoke to him actually about the Optus incident in Aussie. So recently Optus went down and people were unable to call 111 or 000 there, as they call it. And it's actually been linked to some deaths over there. I asked him whether the same could happen here, and here's a clip.
It's less likely in New Zealand because we do have more resilience. But the interesting thing about that Australian episode was that the answer to it, the government sees the answer to it, and the industry sees the answer to that as fixing the regulations, which is back to what we were talking about in the first place, about all those regulations. They're in place for a purpose. They're not there just because bureaucrats enjoy imposing rules on the industry.
Yeah, so you've got a lot more on this out on the podcast shortly.
Yeah, absolutely. And I thought it was interesting because while Australia is looking to pile on the regulations in the telecommunications sector, we're looking to scale them back. He actually told me this funny anecdote. Actually, back in the day, the telecom manager told him that there was a copper line all the way down to somewhere called Orongorongo Lodge. It was in the Wairarapa, and it was the longest copper line in the country. It literally cost millions of dollars a year to keep in service, but they had the obligation to service that lodge. So it's interesting, if these obligations weren't in place, would a boardroom who want to make money spend millions of dollars on a copper line just to one lodge? That's the question.
Sounds like a fascinating episode and to watch and to listen, and that is Chelsea Daniels, host of the Front Page podcast, of course available wherever you get your podcasts. Now, One Roof is giving away 3